there been a more competitive group than this? A quality quartet. Judd Trump, not vintage, but victorious. Tong, an absolute classic. They called him the Jester, the Lionheart of Leicester. Neil Robertson, the man from down under, completes the quartet.
What a stellar semi-final lineup we have to look forward to here at the Mattioli Arena in Leicester. The last four have all lifted the world title, and between them, they have won 83 ranking events. Tonight we kick off with a mouth-watering matchup between Judd Trump and Tong, and that's followed by tomorrow's blockbuster between hometown favourite Mark Selby and Neil Robertson. The champion of champions is certainly living up to its billing. Alongside me, two men who have been enjoying the action all week, Ken and Alan. When you look at the quality of the four players left in here, as fellow professionals, people who follow the game as closely as you do, what's the sentiment? How do you feel about what's to come over the next 3 days?
Very exciting. The lineup says a lot about what we have on the tour. There's no O'Sullivan this week. You know, a lot of the other big names have fallen by the wayside, but the lineup we have, Ken, is outstanding.
Absolutely. I mean, it really gets the juices going, doesn't it? You know, you got, four magnificent players, the current world champion, current world #1, four-time champion, of course, Neil Robertson, who's playing wonderful snooker as well. Both semi-finals would grace any final, and both different in different ways, but both mouth-watering prospects.
I've been watching from afar all week and hearing your views on different players and who's excelling and who's just coming to the boil. Obviously, different players are preparing themselves through the season in different ways. Who are the ones that have really taken your eye, Alan? Which of the four left in here do you think is the one to beat?
Tong for me. Considering he just came off a flight a few hours before he played Mark Allen, I mean, that takes some doing to basically not have any practice and probably half awake as well. He looks really sharp. He was sharp in Nanjing and he's carried it on this week.
Yeah. For me, I think Neil Robertson has played the best. He scored heavier than the rest, I think. The way he sort of got to the semi-final, and that match against John Higgins was a cracker, wasn't it? But the way he saw it out, when John came back at him, I just think he's playing with a little bit more confidence than the other three guys. But, anything can happen on the day here.
Well, it's not a surprise that he's playing well here, because, of course, he's won this title a couple of times before. He's got a great record at the Champion of Champions. In fact, since inception in 2013, only one player has won this and not been the world champion, and that, of course, was Mark Allen, who won it in 2020 and 2023. So, in terms of pedigree, you do have to be pretty good in order to claim this title.
Yeah, the Champion of Champions is reserved for only the best players in this game, and that will never change. There's something about this tournament. When they get here, we've had a lot of, not surprise players in the 16-player lineup, but generally the best players come to the fore.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. The best players, the form players as well, and as you said, what a stellar lineup we have.
Yeah, and one of those players is Judd Trump, of course, a former world champion and a former winner of this particular title. He's been chatting to Rob Walker about life on and off the table ahead of this semi-final.
Judd, here we are, another big event, another major semi-final on the verge of a huge showdown potentially on Sunday. But it's different now, isn't it? Because you're based in Dubai, are you happy with the move? Are you content over there?
Yeah, I'm extremely happy, I think. Even though it's kind of been officially since the end of March, April this year, from January last year is when I've kind of been out of the country. So I've won a lot of big events since I've been out of the country, and a lot happier now from my time away from snooker and my off time and getting to be in the sun a little bit more.
Do you get a little bit more anonymity over there? Do you like perhaps not being recognised as much?
Yeah, I think there's definitely that factor. I think it comes to the point in the UK or in Bristol, wherever it is, you can't kind of go about your daily life like unnoticed. You're always you go for breakfast, you go anywhere, there's going to be someone staring or someone shouting or something. It just gets a little bit uncomfortable, and it's nice to be in Dubai, be able to walk down the street and not have that kind of thing and just feel a little bit more relaxed. So there's still a lot of it when you come back to a tournament, and it's nice to be able to kind of step away from that at some point as well.
And I guess one of the most important things you've got to sort out is Jack having access to where you practice in Dubai, because Jack's been a huge part of that success, and you've got to get him in a position where he's able to come to Dubai regularly. That needs to be sorted quite soon, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a tricky season for me. I think obviously with the queue, and then obviously having my brother not being able to practice anywhere near as kind of the same level of concentration when you're on your own is not quite the same. So yeah, it's been a couple of months now. We're looking to kind of sort it as soon as possible. I think if it's not before the UK, it will be after the UK, and then second half of the season, hopefully there'll be no more excuses.
And therefore, have those wins almost meant twice as much because of the fact that you've shared the journey and shared those occasional spotlight moments with him?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of times and it's the same for every player, where you go to different countries or different parts of the world and you're kind of there on your own and you win on your own. And sometimes you win, you're picking up a trophy, but it's quite a lonely procedure. You go back to your room and it's all kind of said and done and you just go a bit flat. But when you've got someone, your brother or family, and I think it's about kind of being able to share those memories and those special achievements with your family.
This is going to be a cracking night, you and Zhao Xiantong. Now that you're based in the Middle East and you're still spending loads of time in China, have you had a real sense of just how significant his victory at the Worlds was over on that side of the world?
I think if whoever won it, whoever was going to be the first, it was going to be big. But I think because of his style of play, is probably a little bit more easy on the eye than some of the other players as well. I think you're in the early days of how soon can things happen after that. It's going to take a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, and you'll probably see the significance of that win. And I think maybe before they maybe lacked the belief because it hadn't been done before. Now it's been done. You're just going to see it happen more and more often now. I think more and more tournament winners, more and more in the top 16, and hopefully in the future, I think more tournaments out in China as well.
Well, it's going to be a great occasion to see the two of you go toe-to-toe. We miss you not being in the UK, but it's great to see you at these big events. Good luck for this and the rest of the year.
Cheers, Rob. Thank you.
We do believe it's going to be a great occasion tonight. I know you reflected on the situation with the queue earlier in the week, but one thing, when I was listening to you chatting earlier this week, and you in particular, Alan, I heard you talking about Judd's game, and you said it's not where it was 5 years ago. What are the positives? What are the negatives? What's he doing well? What's he doing better? What's he maybe not doing as well?
Well, first of all, I think that the days of Trump domination are probably numbered. Well, they are numbered, and I think they're probably over for a variety of reasons. He's a different player from what he was 6 or 7 years ago. There are mitigating circumstances for that. When you think of the class of '92, they all became more defensive as their careers developed, and he is no different. It's because of players like Wu Yiza, it's because of Sijia Wei, and it's because of the guy he's playing tonight. You end up taking a back seat and finding other ways to win. And because there's so many good players around these days, the domination days are limited, I think.
He's still the number one.
He's still the number one, yeah. He's still got a good lead. He's sort of, as Alan said, you know, he has dominated the game for 5 or 6 years. This year, he's sort of with a new cue and a new ferrule as well, a titanium ferrule. It's a little bit different, and he's still. But there are sort of shoots that he's sort of come on back, but he's not there where he is. But it only takes one tournament to give you that bit of confidence, you know. But I think, the standard has become so much better as well. Some of the younger players coming through. And he plays a little bit of a different game that he would have played 5 or 6 years ago, as Alan said. But he's still number one in the world. And when he's on form, it's just very, very tough to beat.
And what a matchup we have, obviously, the world number one against the world champion. And, of course, a lot of people talk about how heavy the crown of the world title is in the year after. What's your perspective on how this young man has handled it?
Very well, actually. I expected a quiet start to this season, but he's just coming to the boil now. He was busy last week in Nanjing. He's won 8 matches in the last couple of weeks, and that's all he needs, is to be busy. If he's busy, he's going to win big.
And Ken, he's got grit as well, which he needed against Kyron Wilson.
Yeah, he definitely needed it. You know, the way he came back against him was fantastic. You know, and Alan said, as world champion, you know, he's in such demand in China. You know, the first Asian world champion, and a lot of demands on his time, and maybe he started playing a little bit of catch up. But once he settles down, and if he gets, as I said, a tournament win like this, that'll just set him up. But what a player! What a player to watch.
Last thing for you both. You don't have to tell me who's going to win. What kind of night are we in for in terms of what we see out on the table?
As I say, I think Judd's going to sit back and try to eke out mistakes by using his safety prowess. But Zintong only knows one way to play, and that's attack.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a potting and a scoring fest.
Yeah. Well, we all can't wait, but we do have to take a break. But when we come back after the break, play will get underway as the world champion takes on the world #1 for a place in Sunday's final. Zhao Xintong versus Judd Trump, coming up next. Welcome back to the Mattioli Arena in Leicester, where we're all set for our first Champion of Champions semi-final. It's difficult to read too much into the form. This is just the third meeting between Judd Trump and Zhao Xingtong. They both have a win to their name. It all adds to the intrigue. One thing we do know is that these two like to entertain, so sit back and enjoy what promises to be a night of world-class snooker. The first 2 6 frames will book a place in Sunday's final. Your match commentators are Stephen Hendry and David Hendon. But first, here's your MC, Tahir Hajat, to introduce the players.
Good evening, snooker fans all around the world. Welcome to Leicester as Matchroom Multisport presents to you the sportsbet.io Champion of Champions. As sports fans, we live for nights like these. 2 superstars at the top of their game. A serial winner, a young history maker. It's the world ranked #1 versus the reigning world champion. So let's get them into the arena. Up first, let's hear it for the Cyclone, Zhao Xingtong. And his opponent is 30-time ranking event champion. It's the ace in the pack, Judd Trump.
Good evening. The first thing to say is hats off to all the people who've made it to the Mattioli Arena, because the weather outside is absolutely foul, but nobody wants to miss this. It's an intriguing matchup between Judd Trump, the world #1, Zhao Xingtong, the world champion,
Thank you.
for a place in the final of the Champion of Champions. Zhao Xingtong to get us underway. Came through that black ball thriller, of course, with Karen Wilson. Having landed in the UK that same day from China. He's had a few days to relax and get ready for this match. Judd Trump certainly wasn't at his best on Monday, but he battled through. And no doubt has been putting the work in as the week's gone on. Just real excitement around the venue for this. There's not much to go on. Previous meetings, just 2. It's 1 each. Your sort of match, Stephen, this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously been in the game a long time and been doing this talking about the game business for quite a long time, and seen all the players, and it's the most I've probably looked forward to a match for a long time, actually. As you say, there's not been many matches between the 2 players, so really looking forward to this tonight. It doesn't get much better, does it? World champion against world #1. Hopefully both players can play to pretty much near their potential, and we're in for a cracker.
Yeah, and I think what makes it more interesting is neither, of course, has won a title this season, so they're both maybe feeling they've got more of a point to prove. Trump's had a really good record in this event. He won it in 2021. He's been runner-up 4 times. And this is his 7th appearance in the semi-finals, the Champion of Champions. It's only Zhao Xingtong's 2nd time in the event. This is the furthest he's gone.
Yeah, if they're looking for incentives of players, the world champion wants to prove to the world #1 why he's world champion, and vice versa. The world #1 wants to show the world champion why he's the best player in the world.
Yeah, and of course they could so easily have played in that world final. It was Mark Williams who denied Trump in the semis.
Both obviously known for their attacking snooker, but Judd, well, one of the reasons he is the best player in the world #1, the serial winner he is because His game has become sort of slightly more pragmatic in terms of doesn't take the risks or the pots on that he used to. Whereas Shintong still, pretty much you'd have to say, doesn't refuse much. So you would think he'd be more the aggressor tonight, the world champion. And I think the long potting will be a big decider as well, because they both rely on it a lot to get in to score.
One.
If you went on the form of this week, you put Shintong favourite. He's played the better snooker, there's no doubt about it. I think Judd is not, I don't think, anywhere near his best at the moment, whether it's down to the cue that he's not getting on with, or for whatever reason. It's well documented he hasn't won a tournament this year. And for someone who's been winning so regularly, it's an incredible stat.
3.
So yeah, I mean, Shintong, slight favourite tonight.
Four. Green ball.
So end of break.
In
In terms of those two meetings, Xingtong's win over Trump came in the quarterfinals of the German Masters 2022. That's a tournament he went on to win. Trump's win at the English Open 2018, he was 3-1 down. And he made 3 centuries in a row to win 4-3. But I guess the players look at Zhao Xingtong differently now, as he's the world champion. Back then he was a rising star with a lot of potential. And now he's realised it by winning our biggest title.
Yeah, just to emphasise my point on the who's played the best so far this week. We'll let Judd Trump go for this long red. Quite a long way off. But the tournament stats, pot success 93 versus 89 for Shintong. Long pot success 60 versus 55. Rest success 100 versus 80. Highest break 136 to 84. Total points 963 to 783. So he leads everything. Dominates his opponent in every stat really this week. But as we know, every match is different. It doesn't guarantee he's going to win tonight. But those last 2 efforts from Judd, 2 long pots, didn't really get close to either. I think he'll pot this one.
Yeah, the way the match has started, it's like these two have been a little bit caught up in all the chat as well. I'm sure it'll settle down a little bit on the edgy side in the early exchanges. because, of course, it's not an event where the draw can open up for you. Everyone here had won a tournament, and all the players left are world champions. Whoever wins is going to thoroughly deserve it.
Three. Four.
Well, this is now a very good chance for
11.
Judd Trump to win this first frame. Black's in the open. Reds are nicely spread.
12.
Exactly the kind of opportunity you look for in the first frame of a big match. New cloth
90.
on the table for the semi-finals and final. So it'll be very reactive.
20.
Yeah, the table wasn't in great shape, I didn't think, on day one, but the standard has been good all week. I think it's improved, and as you say, it's now reclothed.
27. 28. 35.
Both these players like to get on with it. Their average shot time for the tournament is 18 seconds a shot for Judd, 17 for Zhao Xintong. So I say, once they get in this kind of situation, they certainly don't hang around.
Okay. 36. 43.
Red to right corner, but he knew if he came up short, he'd have this to the right middle. So putting the cue ball in an area there to give himself options.
44.
This kind of situation that Judd's had with the balls nicely spread, it doesn't even matter. If you're not on top form, this is sort of bread and butter stuff to the top players.
49.
They'll always score when presented with easy chances. And of course, as soon as I say that,
Judd Trump.
this is
49.
the easy red. You'll be disappointed. Because in a match like this, you like to send a signal to your opponent. And that signal would have been trying to win that frame in one visit. He hasn't done it.
1.
Well, really should have been Trump's frame, shouldn't it? Meanwhile, Xintong's on the red on the left-hand side. Yeah, he could have been better on the red Trump, but you still
8.
expected him to get it. But maybe there are a few early nerves here.
9.
One of these two, of course, by reaching the final, has the chance on Sunday just to put to bed all the chatter about why they haven't won a tournament this season. But for the one who loses, then that chat will continue until they do win one.
16.
It's amazing when you think his average shot time is 17 seconds because he
20.
never looks in a hurry when he's moving around the table, Zhao Xingtong. But his cue ball control is such that he doesn't really have a lot of thinking
24.
time, a lot of deliberation. Everything's automatic, one shot straight into the next. No one in the game makes snooker look easier than this guy at the table when he's playing well.
29.
So the brown is obviously going to be a bit of a stumbling block if he's going to win the frame at this visit. But at least he's got the chance. It didn't look like he would have the opportunity. Trump was going
37.
well. Perfect position to win the frame.
38.
Now, is he tempted to move the brown here? He'd have to leave the yellow with a bit of distance between cue ball and object ball, but I think it's worth it. Not sure whether they played it or not. If it was a rather
45.
half-hearted attempt. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he didn't play to move the brown, but I think it was worth the risk because you just can't see him clearing up from here.
47.
This is going to have to be some shot to get decent position on the brown to pot it from this green.
$50. Zhao Xingtong, 50.
Well, I thought he would have been tempted to take the brown on, but instead he's put a pretty good safety shot. Was there a gap between blue and pink? Surely not.
Thank you.
Well, obviously it would have been a sitter had the cue ball gone into the D. Is it still on this brown? And he needs brown and blue. So Trump, as I say, was where you want to be in terms of in amongst the balls, looking good to win the frame. He missed. And it's going to be
9.
first blood to the world champ, barring a snooker. It really is an eagerly awaited match between these two. Well, hasn't potted the pink, so
Zhao Xingtong,
Trump will come
9.
back.
Frame conceded.
He's not
Frame
going to keep
Zhao
that out, so he
Xingtong.
stays in his seat. So, the first semi-final of the Champion of Champions underway. Zhao Xingtong leads Judd Trump 1-0. Welcome back to the Mattioli Arena on this very wet Friday night. But, well, thank goodness snooker's an indoor sport, and this is an intriguing contest already. Judd Trump had the chance in frame one, but Zhao Xingtong has won it.
Judd Trump to break.
Still best of 11. Of course, the winner plays whoever comes through tomorrow night between Neil Robertson and Mark Selby. Judd Trump certainly enjoys this event. As I mentioned, 5 finals. He's won it once. He's made a maximum. As the cue ball finds the yellow pocket. It's only him and Selby have played in every one. All 13 champion of champions. It just shows you the consistency by which he's been winning tournaments. Which I guess is why it's a surprise he hasn't won one this year.
I tell you what, I think he's lost all confidence with his cue from distance. I mean, he's absolutely butchered the break-off. Completely mishit where he should have done on the red. To me, just doesn't look happy out there, comfortable. Snooker's not like tennis where you can walk out with like half a dozen cues and they're all the same and they all play the same way. Snooker cue is just so personal and so important to a player. Here we go, the break-off. As I say, just a complete mishit. The cue ball should go the other side of the blue. And again, to prove my point, he's really struggling from distance. Perhaps the next long ball he's presented with. But I still don't think he's comfortable with the cue.
It's a handy kiss as well, because he's on the black. Yeah, I mean, he said that one of the reasons he changed cues is because he wanted more power, but I think most people thought he had quite a bit already.
Well, I dearly love that pink to be potable because you'll see once the black is put back on the table, I don't think it's, well, if it is on its own spot, if not, it's very close to its own spot, but it's completely out of the equation now, the black ball.
Thank you. 8.
Well, yeah, test of his power here if he's screwing back. And I was able to follow through with
9.
top spin, run inside, which is left-hand side. And obviously the pink does pot.
$14. Judd Trump, 14.
Yeah, just didn't get anywhere near the reds, so just a safety.
Yeah, all week the table's not been as fast as what the players are normally used to. It's a different table to what the main tour play on. I would presume it's the same cloth, but I don't know for certain. But it's definitely not been as quick. Judd was sort of a bit surprised where he ended up, that last shot off the blue.
One.
Certainly looks from our angle, doesn't it? there's a gap there, but from where Judd's looking, it's a different, completely different view.
Judd Trump, 1. One.
Oh, that's nice. He's freed the black. Of course, Shazing
7.
was in the semi-finals of the last event last weekend, the International Championship out in Nanjing, hence he only arrived here on the day of his match. Also got to the semis in Shanghai,
8.
so it's not been a disaster this season by any means, but he played so well, of course, in Sheffield that it's understandable people assumed he would really kick on like Kyron Wilson did last season. Of course, he won 4 titles.
Yeah, and the bedrock of his win in Sheffield was this situation. Whenever he got in this situation, it seemed like he just cleared up every time. It was incredible.
$16.
Black going up to the green spot is not a problem at all. Quite happy with the pink being here. Speed of the table catching out both players.
22.
If he's screwing the cue ball up towards the blue, he's got to be just a little bit wary of that left middle pocket. That's why he's playing it with topspin.
23. $25.
Good recovery part. I guess the cue ball kind of could have finished anywhere, but he's on this red.
26.
Just got this manner, hasn't he? You know, that everything is kind of easy. Obviously it's not, but got this nonchalant air about him.
$31. 32.
This red to right corner, clear as a red to the left corner.
38. $39.
If he gets on it in such a way, he may just nudge the other 3 reds into potable positions. Yeah, he'll be opening the other 3 reds up here from this.
45. $46.
Well, it's another frame where Trump had the chance. That pink did go through the gap, but he didn't pot it, as we saw. And Shazing Tong just needs a couple of reds here to make it 2-0.
51. 52.
He really is lethal when he gets in terms of scoring, winning frames at one visit when he's on form.
58.
I say Sheffield's just did it time after time to everybody.
$59.
The yellow was obviously the toughest pot in this visit, but the rest of it has been made to look
65.
ridiculously easy.
$66.
And already early in this semi-final, just little alarming signs for Judd Trump. Doesn't look, I say he hasn't looked at his best all week, but because he's the great champion he is, he still made it to the semi-final, still won his group,
72.
but I think he's up against a different level an opponent tonight.
Josington.
Yeah, he's had his
72
chances, Trump,
and
but
different.
breaks of 50 and 72 have helped Zhao Xingtong take the first two frames. 6 required for a place in the Champion of Champions final.
Thank you, frame 3.
Well, it's still
Zhao
early
Xingtong
days, of
different.
course, but a few signs of concern for Judd Trump because he did have the chances in the first two frames and a couple of missed pots, a red in the first, a pink in the second, have proved costly. Zhao Xingtong has looked pretty good so far. Of course, he easily could have been out. Karen Wilson had the chance, didn't he, at the long black in their decider. Tough shot and left it over a pocket, unmissable. Yeah, he played to leave the cue ball on the cushion, which he hasn't done. And that red was available, but not in. Comes a little away from the pocket, hasn't it? He's not hanging in the jaws.
One.
One thing Judd Trump knows how to do is win. He's won 30 ranking titles, 13 other tournaments. He's looking tonight to reach a 76th professional final. And he won't have been at his best, of course, in every match he's played. Sometimes it's about just digging in and digging out a result. But in this match, surely he will have to step up his game if he is to be successful. And this is another chance.
14. $15.
Yeah, I think the only way he's going to put pressure on his opponent is doing to St. Tong what St. Tong is doing to him. Winning frames in one visit. Loads of left-hand side on the cue ball there to try and bring it down to this red below the black. He's not on it perfectly. This is missable.
$21.
That was superb. Really got so much
28.
momentum into the cue ball there, so much speed into it. You watch the cue ball arc here into the reds. Tremendous cue power.
$29.
Yeah, it's well done. That red was very thin. Finished nice enough here. Didn't make a century in his group, his highest break, 84.
34.
But he has made 29 in this tournament down the years.
35. $42.
Well, a long way short here. This is not guaranteed, the positional side of this.
43.
In fact, he was able to get a gap through. So, still in nice position. Has to win the frame here.
48.
You can obviously win frames in 2, 3, 4 visits, but it doesn't really put pressure on your opponent like winning it in one hit.
49.
It's almost like if he doesn't do it in one hit, you're showing weakness.
$54.
Well, again, it could have been easier, this. No problem. Kind of feels like the winning shot. He still needs to make sure of this frame, but not much more to do.
$61. $62.
So blue and red required for 2-1, but the most significant thing, of course, he would have won it in one visit.
67. 68.
Well, it's getting good support. I think the one thing no one wants to see tonight is a one-sided match. This, as we've been sort of building up to it, it's a bit of a blockbuster tie. You don't want it to fizzle out. He's missed that, so should be
Judd Trump,
enough.
68.
3 snookers needed. Xiao Tong is sort of inching out of his seat. I think he sort of almost had just accepted the frame was lost there. But he's coming back to the table. But as I say, it is 3 snookers.
One.
Oh dear,
Frame
the fluke he didn't
conceded.
want
Frame
flicked
Judd
off the
Trump.
black winning. Of course, he needs a big colour off it. He's not on one, so he's conceded. So Judd Trump, with a solid 68, is on the scoreboard. And after just 37 minutes of play, it's Xiao Tong leading 2-1. On to Xiao Tong, one more frame to come before the mid-session interval. First semi-final here at the Champion of Champions tomorrow night. Mark Selby takes on Neil Robertson.
well, a more successful break off than his previous one. Well, there's no holding back there, was there? That was full-blooded. And what a chance he's left Trump.
One.
This is the man, of course, who last season made a record 107 centuries in a single campaign. And along the way, trousered that bonus that was put up, the 100 grand.
Great bit of break building thinking there from Judd. Straight away.
14.
Wanted to get rid of the red that was to the right of the black, because now, as you can see, the black's completely open to both corner pockets.
15.
And it makes scoring now that much easier.
$22. $23.
Seems to be finding his touch and speed
28.
on the table now in terms of position.
$29.
Yeah, the red Xingtong took on. He did try and screw back from an element of safety, but because he didn't get the pot, he careened into the reds. And that's why when Trump came to the table, a lot of the work, you know, had been kind of done for him.
36. $37.
He won't turn many pots down, Judd Trump, and that's what makes him such a fearsome opponent, because even when he's not getting them, it's still putting pressure on your safety. You're still, as his opponent, thinking, well, what is he going to go for? Yeah, I need to get this cue ball
43.
tight on the baulk cushion, because if not, he's going to take something on. And it can put your opponent,
44.
it can be intimidating. But obviously, against the world number one, he can't afford to be given gifts of leaves like he's done there.
There it is. It's the fact he's missed the red
50.
and it's gone into the bunch. So he's played the Hollywood shot, but turned out a bit of a flop.
51. $58.
It's not a bad idea to actually play for pink to right middle of this red. Just played for the black. Had a little bit more angle on
59.
that shot than I could see from here. But those 3 reds above, in between pink and black, none of them are potable, so he could go without going into them, I suppose, if he takes the 2 loose reds. With colours already 66 in front.
66.
This red in colour will put him mathematically in a winning position in the frame, but you always want to pot that
67.
extra red just to make sure, just to stop your opponent coming to the table. Yeah, he's 7-3 up with
73.
67 on. If he doesn't pot this red, Zhao Xintong will keep playing in this frame.
Yeah,
Judd Trump, 73.
so not quite there, but in general, having made a slow start to the night, Trump's looked much better the last 2 frames, made breaks of 68 and 73, just hasn't quite killed this one off as clinically as he would have hoped.
1.
You don't really think of Zhao Xintong as a player who sort of wins frames needing snookers, but let's see. He can clear 3 of these 4 reds. Play for the snooker on the last red.
8. 9. 16. 17. 24.
'Yeah, he needed pink or black off this red, and he's left this
25.
awkward. This needs to go in, otherwise it's cup of tea time. And it's not there.
Zhao Xintong, 25.
And he's nodded his head.
Conceded frame.
So just 46 minutes for the first 4 frames. Trump missed a couple early on. He recovered well, though, with breaks of 68 and 73. So at the interval, we're all square at 2-2.
to be lies, and all the joy within you dies. Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love.
And we have loved what we've seen so far from Judd Trump and Zhao Xintong. After just 45 minutes of the first semi-final of the Champion of Champions, it is 2 frames apiece between these top 2 players. It's been wonderful to watch them so far because both players are showing glimpses of their best, both players taking the opportunities. Ken, first of all, what have you made of the way both players have settled into the semi-final?
Yeah, Zhao Xintong started off very, very well. I think he's missed the trick, though. I think he could have been, you know, at least 3-1 at the interval. Judd Trump, though, came back when he got his chance. Been a wonderful array of great potting. Not so much big breaks, but still a decent standard. And I think the best is yet to come in the second half, without a shadow of a doubt.
Alan, you can take us into the analysis and pick out some of the key moments.
I think it's been all the more intriguing because of the odd mistake like this. Judd makes the early running, but he leaves himself a half ball, what I call a spinner. He's got to spin the cue ball, and that's where he's losing a wee bit of accuracy. He makes the mistake. Xintong there, I thought, was smart. He didn't take on a brown early on in the match. That was smart. Play the shot, get the snooker, left this, needs just the brown and the blue to get frame 1 done. So that was the early running, and Xintong would be delighted to win a frame from whatever 50 behind, Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought, like we thought when on that brown he was going to go for it. This was a great shot from Judd Trump. Gets on the pink, gets down to have a look. He's had a look at it a few times, but you can see it clearly goes. But then, you know, misses a straightforward pink. And he was unsettled, Judd Trump, in these early exchanges. And then, of course, Zhao Xintong comes, he pots some lovely balls. This was a nice pot, nicely through the gap as well here. And he goes into like a 2-0 lead.
The one area where Xintong, in my opinion, is not strong enough yet is his shot selection.
Yeah.
I mean, that one there, most players would be playing for the other wing ball, the one on the left side there in the open, but he just floats it in, and that's all fine and well. It's really good. But as we'll see later on, especially in frame 4, he pushes the boat out when the state of the match is intervals looming, and you're 2-1 to the good, so don't present any gifts. He does well here, Judd, to get this frame 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, that was a nice shot, and nicely landed on the pink as well, and sort of has settled them down a little. But this is the big shot for me. Like, there's no need for Xintong to go for that shot. He could have played a containing safety shot. He misses it. I mean, that's a 1 in 10 shot. You don't play, not against these top players. You play a containing shot, wait for your best chance, and then he's left the world for him, you know?
You know, you've got that phrase, read the room, read the table, read the scoreboard. Where are we? 2-1, right? He's on the back foot. Keep him there. He didn't. He's opened the door 2-all.
All right. Given all of that analysis, what you're saying about how the players have played so far, we haven't had a century yet, but we are talking about the world number 1, and we are talking about the current world champion. What level are they both operating at? How many more gears do they have? How much more do they have in the tank?
Judd has plenty to go. You know, he's not out of second gear yet, quite honestly. His cue ball is a worry. He's not getting the spin that I think he's looking for just yet.
Yeah, his long ball is not as good as it used to be, but he'll be more settled. But I think both players will go up in gears, I think, in this second half. We're definitely going to see some more big breaks.
Which means it's going to be very exciting. So stick with us. It's time for another break. It is 2-all between these 2 top players at the mid-session interval, and we'll bring you the conclusion to tonight's semi-final when we return. Tune in for 3 days of darts from the Players' Championship finals, live from Butlins Minehead as reigning champion Luke Humphries goes in search of a third consecutive title. Coverage gets underway next Friday, 12:45 p.m. on ITV4. Meanwhile, back here in Leicester, it is 2-2 between the current world champion and the world number one. The early jousting is over. Time for someone to stamp their authority and earn a place in Sunday's final against either Neil Robertson or Mark Selby. Time to get the action back underway. Neil Foles is now alongside Phil Yates in the commentary box.
Thanks, Rishi. Yeah, the weather is truly terrible. The snooker simply scintillating. 3 of the 4 quarter-finals in this tournament were highly competitive, ultimately dramatic. I think this one will be just the same.
Well, I think he surprised himself there as to how much of the red he could hit, because must say from the angle we had, it looked like he could just graze it, but he hit a lot of it. Yes, he's created an immediate chance of some description here.
1.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've had 4 frames of this match. We're none the wiser as to who's going to win, because, you know, the intrigue of this match is world number one, world champion, who've hardly ever played, really, you know, for various reasons, of course. There was an enforced layoff for Zhao Jintong, as we know. But, you know, you think 2 players at the very top of the tree hardly have locked horns before. I think that was the one imponderable. It's going to tell us a lot, really, I think, about where these 2 players are currently at with their game, as to who wins. And we can't wait to find out. Judd was struggling earlier. Kind of the obituaries were kind of a little bit premature, weren't they? Because he came back powerfully in those last 2 frames, and quickly.
Yes, and it has to be remembered that Trump's win over Zhao in the second round of the English Open in 2018 was a fight back. He was 3-1 behind, won 4-3. And he made 3 centuries in the closing 3 frames, so he produced his best when it counted most. Numerically equal at the interval. I think Trump would be feeling the better of the 2. This semi-final, and indeed tomorrow's, it basically strikes at the heart of the ethos of the Champion of Champions, a gathering of the very best.
You don't expect long safety battles in between this pairing. Of course, there are going to be some. But generally, it's usually free scoring, attacking. Very thin red to pot this one. He actually hit it too thin. Oh, that was horrible. That was horrible. The way he struck that, he completely mistimed it. He's such a wonderful player, but that was as bad as I've seen Judd Trump hit one. And he might just sit there expressionless, but trust me, a little shot like that will play on your mind. He wouldn't be a human being if it didn't, because he hit that so poorly for someone who's such a wonderful player.
Yeah, we highlight the best shots of the week. That was one of the worst. And you might think, well, surely one individual shot wouldn't be that much of a detriment to your confidence, but as Neil explained, sometimes it really hurts.
Yes, I'm sure he can put it behind him, but it still happened, and didn't cost him, I suppose. So I suppose from here, we've got best of 7, haven't we, to see who wins with the score at 2 each. This is kind of where matches are won and lost. The early frames were fast moving. I think the problem there was the 2 reds on the right of the table were in the way on the way back up, and the worst case scenario has happened. What a chance he's left here. He tried to catch that red very thin to avoid the 2 reds.
One. Six. Seven. $13. 14.
'He'd like to get the red away from the left of the blue if he could. That red up the table. Yes, because it really opens up things with the black not really in play. Blue available to both middle pockets, and the pink on is
16.
strengthening his chance in the frame at this visit.
$17.
Yeah, for these guys, when it comes to the availability of high-value colours, 2 out of 3, sufficient.
22.
Yes, the red just to the left of the black spot goes through the gap there.
23.
Getting on with it, Trump, isn't he? Those two frames, both, well, it's exactly the same time, 8 minutes 40 seconds the pair. You know, from 2-0 down, in the blink of an eye, he was level. Somewhere in between. He's got two reds, but both a little thin. Two opposite
29.
corner pockets. It's gone slightly wrong.
Just had a cursory look at the red to middle, but it was at an extremely acute angle.
Judd Trump, 29.
Kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it? Yes, I mean, this is the shot before. He played the nudge, but the nudge on the reds didn't quite work out. I think he didn't mean to push that one to the cushion. And then as you saw, the shot that followed it was coming as a result of that, really.
1.
He overcut this red in the end. The shot after it. This is a tricky one with the rest.
Chao keeping a proud record intact. 100% pot success rate with the rest, not in the match, in the tournament.
Yeah, we had that extraordinary
8.
stat during the Masters. Sean Murphy, I think it was 50 plus rest shots. He didn't miss one on his way to becoming Masters champion.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
He really is a magician, Zhao Xintong, but he'll need to be here where the majority of the remaining reds are placed.
Yeah, I mean, he's a terrific player anyway, isn't he? He's world champion, but you know, when the balls are open, he's a delight to watch. But like you say, this is a different kind of break he's got to make. You know, there's a likelihood he won't win the frame here. But it's a question of what damage he can do. He overhit that one, but he did not hit it well. With a lot
21.
of confidence, the way he powered through that pink. He wasn't queuing greatly on it, but things are getting more difficult by the shot.
Rosington, 21.
Well, Trump retains a lead. Slender, yes, but at least Zhao didn't make an awful lot there. There is no question this frame is going to be the lengthiest of the match so far, and maybe, given it's immediately post-interval, it could be one of the most important to set the agenda in the second half.
It's mighty close, but I think he's got, well, second prize on that red anyway, in that the pink covers it. It's a bit of a outlier, this frame. I don't think we're going to see many of this kind. We certainly hadn't seen one to date. It's going to be mostly free-flowing.
In the early stages of his career, Trump did not enjoy this kind of frame. Now he's a lot more patient, he's a lot more rounded as a competitor. Just goes to show frames dictated by how the balls run. When they go awkward, even two of the most enterprising potters in the business, they end up playing quite a slow frame. Just circumstance.
One.
Brilliant pot. Again, it feels as if it's hard to think he could get the frame one here. Whatever he does, we know what he can do, how well he pots.
Six. Seven.
Well, he has an angle, at least on this pink, to either head towards the two reds on the cushion or the two reds by the black. Try and disturb something anyway. That wasn't the cannon he was hoping for. How do you lead this? You know, 20 points sounds nothing when the way these
30.
two play, but sometimes the balls dictate, and a leader like that makes him favourite.
Judd Trump, 13.
Just tried to come in between the two reds a little bit more than he did.
Fully intentional double kiss to get the cue ball back into bulk. Judged the white nicely, but he's left a shot to nothing on the red.
Yes, and likewise, the same shot for Zhao Jintong.
One.
Well, has he got any kind of a shot here on a colour to open these reds, three reds and the black? He'd take a real force, I think, into them to bring them all into play. Well, if he's playing the blue, this is probably the biggest shot of the evening so far. He's got to pot this and develop all those balls on the right. Oh, what a shot. What a shot he's played. Yes, he might not be very fortunate, but If he thinks about playing this red up into the yellow pocket, that could
6.
really put the cat amongst the pigeons if he would knock it in. This is not so pleasant. Do you know, I think I'd almost
Joe's
rather
in
him
on
played that
6.
red up the table there, because he just missed one of those a little earlier in the frame like that. It might be costing him that one.
Yeah, the blue was so good. But in the end, it looks as though indirectly it might have cost him.
1. Eight.
Trump 22 in front, so he will need both reds.
And he could potentially shift the other red out here in potting this one. And he's tried to avoid that with a little bit of left-hand running side. But like you say, you know, it's almost a red ball frame. The lead he's got doesn't mean a great deal at this point. It did earlier when the balls were safe.
$14. $15.
Well, someone wanted it in. One spectator was willing it in, and that spectator was right.
Black ball.
So it's one
Is it
snooker,
Trump?
but he's in a
15.
snooker. This is one of those rarities, Phil. How many frames this week has there not been a 30 break? I shouldn't think very many. Very rare.
Very good point, actually. Yeah, heavy scoring week, but this one has been disjointed in the extreme, this frame.
Slightly flirting with danger there, wasn't he? Letting that cue ball run around a bit. You know, the in off or something. Which didn't happen, but might have done.
If Trump can clip in the yellow, Zhao would need 2 snookers.
Foul. Judd Trump. 4.
He
Frame
concedes
conceded.
after
Frame, Judd
that.
Trump.
And so it was low scoring. It was scrappy. But that won't concern Judd Trump, because for the first time this evening, he finds himself in front at 3-2.
Thank you, frame 6. Judd Trump to break.
Elite snooker at the Mattioli Arena. The world number one. We used to call him the runaway world number one, but his lead at the top of the rankings is being eroded. But he remains top of the pile. He's leading the reigning world champion 3-2.
Quite an effective break-off shot, that, because yes, you can get to this red, but getting back up the table, not easy. He's going to have to have a dart at this, I think. As good as the break-off was, Xiao Xintong was equal to it, albeit just to play safe next.
Yellow ball. Chasington 1.
We might be midway through November, but snooker's calendar year still has a lot of activity. After this, it's the Golden Ball 167 event in Saudi Arabia, UK Championship, Shootout, Scottish Open. And I think particularly for Trump, after what's been a lull, there's no doubt about it. I think crisis is being a little too extreme, but certainly a lull in form. A triumph here on Sunday would be very timely indeed. But clearly, there's question marks.
Chasington 4.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem that thin a contact was required there, just to get back to bulk. For him to miss altogether. Yeah, look, I think a lot's been made of Judd using a different cue, and he made the point, if he doesn't win soon, then he'll be trying a different cue. And I think should he win on Sunday, then we'll stop talking about it, which is good, because all that chat really doesn't go anywhere. Equipment, some people have got no concept of what difference a cue makes, and I understand that completely. Well, he's left one. I mean, he played it as if maybe he wasn't doing much damage, but clearly he is. The red above the black.
Sometimes even world beaters have to rely on a little bit of luck. And Trump received no love whatsoever there. Good pot. All he's done, put himself in trouble.
Well, it is. I mean, he's got a clear shot at the black, you know, technically, although he's not going to be playing it. It's hard to get to it. It's a question of what he nominates here. Tatiana wants to know. She's looking at Judd.
Yellow ball.
Yellow he's come up with. It's one of those you'd like to be able to play it and halfway down name your colour. Which one are you going to be closest to, but you're not allowed to do that. course, the problem here, you know, if he misses again, it's going to be a question of the 3 strikes and out rule. So he doesn't look very happy, Judd, does he?
Judd. Yeah, zoomed on.
I hate to say it, there's a part of me that almost wants
Which
to see
colour?
this missed,
Yellow ball.
just to see what happens on the 3rd attempt. Sorry about that. Well, I didn't get my way, but it's a brilliant shot. I mean, the 3rd attempt, I don't know what would have happened there. He'd have had to try and hit the black, and yeah, I don't sure how he got to it, but anyway, it's gone.
Well, I think this frame is going to be radically different from the 5th. Okay, the black is entirely out of commission at the moment, but the reds now are beautifully spread. No development work required if you can get in. Now, what we're going to see a Trump powerhouse special here.
1.
Yes, we are, and that will do.
It certainly will, to avoid hitting a red full on. Now he's got a chance.
Four. Five.
Yeah, certainly helped by the yellow away from its spot there. The up and down was straightforward.
10.
Although it's amazing how you can finish in a place where, look, he's on about 4 different reds here, but none of them are right behind them. Probably the only place down there we've not got a simple red. The one to middle, probably the best.
11.
But you see, because it was a fairly narrow pocket opening, he couldn't hit it with power, and now he's got to go around the angles again. He's looking at all the permutations. There's no one better at going through bulk on shots and back out than Judd. Oh, that was a handy flick. That was a handy flick.
16.
You can't complain now.
$17.
You might view the awkwardness of the black as a negative, but if you think about it, if Trump can keep building this lead, he knows even if he doesn't win the frame at this visit, the inaccessibility of the
24.
black will be a negative for Zhao should he get back to the table. So lots in Trump's favour, even though he wanted the cue ball to bounce a little more there.
Yeah, a little puff of the cheeks over the top of the red, annoyingly. Held the spot. Pink off the black spot. Seemingly goes to the left corner.
30. 31. 37.
Because Zhao owns the game's biggest title. Sometimes we forget he's won 3 professional events against Trump, who's won 43.
44.
All true. Although he is one Masters win away from completing the Triple Crown as well, isn't he, Xintong? Yes, but Judd is, is a very seasoned campaigner these days. It's hard to even call him
51.
that because he sort of still plays like a very young man.
52.
He's kind of the epitome of the modern day player, isn't he? His style of play, his brand of snooker.
58.
And for someone who can do it spectacularly,
59.
he's kind of done well to chip away and get these 2 frames post mid-session under his belt without anything flashy happening. Balls have gone a little awkwardly, and he's coped with it better, I think, of the 2.
Four on the spin, it
65.
seems. Certainly if this red goes in, there's no way back.
66. 72. 73.
'A valiant effort to try and
77.
dislodge red from black.
Foul. Josington 7.
So no
Judd Trump
century,
77 and
but that was just a minor issue. Judd Trump has taken control of this match. He leads 4-2. 2 more needed for a place in the final.
Thank you, frame 7. Josington to break.
Well, Zhao Xintong won the first 2 frames this evening. 50 break in the first. 72 in the second after Trump missed a short-range pink. You couldn't help but be concerned for the Bristolian. Now, though, the concern is all Zhao's. Trump has come back with breaks of 68, 73, 77, and winning a very scrappy fifth frame. So 2 more frames needed for another shot at the title. And it would be his 6th appearance in a Champion of Champions final. He won in 2021, beat Mark Selby. He's lost in 4 other finals, twice to O'Sullivan, once to Mark Allen, once to Neil Robertson.
Well, Xiao Jintong went missing for some frames against Kyron Wilson, and we put it down to a little bit of tiredness, but he sort of rose up and won all the others at the end of the last 3. Dramatic style on the last black. So, you know, 4-2 down. We're not writing him off by any means. He's been becalmed a little bit, though, hasn't he? Ooh, that flick was not what Judd Trump wanted, because nothing was happening, and then all of a sudden he's opened up the table. Just grazing the red.
Yeah, and when he's playing shots into that pocket, down that half of the table, he's consistently overcutting. This overcut could be really costly, both in terms of points and momentum.
Yes, I mean, it looked fairly innocuous, this, didn't it? And the red doesn't go above the black, and all of a sudden the little nudge on it opens everything up.
9.
Took a real calculated risk there. He could have played on a
60.
red, but he decided to thunder it into the bunch. It's cleverly played, but it may have opened up slightly better than it has. He wants to play the red next to the blue and knock it into the yellow pocket and play on the black and completely open up the frame a second time. Big shot, this. Turned out to be a little too big.
Zhao Xingtong, 16.
You'll think he's a bit unlucky there after playing quite a good shot going into the bunch without the easiest red to follow it.
I'll tell you what, Trump delighted to be back at the table, only 16 behind.
Well, I think he might be forced into playing this red out on the right of the bunch, in the absence of anything else, really. If he played it to middle, there's a danger of leaving a red up the table. Options are fairly thin on the ground, though, as an alternative. I think his mind is made up that he's going to have to try and pop this somewhere. Down the end, I think. Bottom right. Needs help here.
One of those situations where you knew Trump was going to be cautious, conservative.
whenever Reds go on or near the baulk line, there's always the environment for this kind of tip-tap exchange.
Well, that red went all round the pocket. Not sure how this one quite stayed out. Well, certainly advantage Trump. I know he's 16 behind, probably irrelevant, but just a little bit of bother now. Zhao Xintong, how does he get safe? What does he do? Again, he might be just reaching out to play a pot in the absence of a safety shot here. I don't know, the red above the pink to right middle is a horrible looking shot, but then it gives you something, doesn't it? You know, the chance to pot one. He's playing it. Oh, that was ever so close as well. It's just not quite clicking into gear, is it now? From a very promising start for the world champion.
Yeah, for his attacking philosophy, you might think otherwise, but I think in this kind of situation, Trump possesses more patience than his opponent, and he possesses more telling tactical moves.
One.
And he's a pretty good doubler.
Eight.
Now, things opened up a little bit more than it first looked there by just clipping that red.
Nine.
It's allowed him a good chance.
Well, you can't get closer than that. Tournament balls potted. 333 to 334 now for Trump.
Fourteen. 15.
It's recognised that the benchmark for success at this level is around 90%. Trump is achieving that, but Zhao down at 80%. That will not cut the mustard.
21. $22.
Well, Well, he's a bit fortunate there because he didn't want to go anywhere near that red. If he hits any more of it, then he's not even on the colour. So it was a mistake which probably won't be punished. Just the odd shot here or there he looks a little bit unsure of, but you know, he's still
25.
not world number one, and you know, he's playing pretty well.
26.
Certainly not playing poorly. It's just the odd shot which surprises you when you see it.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment entirely, Neil. I think, though, given the occasion, given the opposition tonight for Trump, it's,
29.
as Tiger Woods used to say, all about the W.
Thirty.
Oh, that was a nice shot. That was a nice cannon. You feel that, you know, Judd is about to go 5-2 up, but really there's a lot of work to be
34.
done here. It's not quite the case yet. There's only a few in front. The balls are not great.
35.
Improving this break in small
39.
increments because he's potting both colours.
Forty. $43. 44.
He's played a couple of nice little nudges in this break, actually.
50.
Started with that
51.
double, and it was kind of a shot to nothing, really. He couldn't leave one. So now, just any colour with this next
58.
red, and the lead increases.
59.
Be a very satisfying win, I think, even for Judd, who's, you know, conquered most things, but he's now up against a world champion who he's rarely played. So it's kind of different kind of a challenge, of which he's turning out to
66.
be getting the upper hand in.
Judd Trump, 66.
Zhao feels an obligation to come back to the table, and he's right to do so. Only 43 on, though. 2 snookers needed. Always the possibility of getting one and a free ball, of course.
Yes, it doesn't feel like it's about to happen, does it? You know, but I don't suppose it ever does when someone needs all these snookers. But just once in a blue moon, they do get them or free ball and turn these frames around. So that's why players do play on, but it happens rarely. Some players are more capable of it than others. And winning a frame like
Foul.
this. Oh, there, hello. There's something out of the blue.
Chelsington 4.
Tell you what, he did well to hit that blue on the way back and not leave a free ball there. That would have been a game changer.
Foul.
It came across, if he misses the blue, and it could have been a free ball that otherwise. It isn't. Some life has just been brought back into the frame because yellow and brown close mean that that's a snookering opportunity. He wants to get it down to one red as soon as he can, Jintong. Try it for snookers that way. Or even
One.
if you could take two red blacks, then perhaps that's where you could go. Although to get the second red black with the red up the table wouldn't be easy, but one on the colours might be something he fancies a little bit. It's just that he would need to take a black with the red. Otherwise it's more than one snooker.
Eight. Chelsington 8.
Yellow and brown provided obvious cover. And while Trump is very adept at escaping snookers, this is not entirely straightforward, far from it. That will do. That will do nicely.
Yes, a bit of a relief. I mean, it was a good contact with the red. He never quite know you're going to knock it in, but he hit plenty of it. But yeah, he kind of brought that on himself a little bit when he hit that yellow on the way through. All forgotten now, and the lead is getting bigger, and he's just got one more frame to win.
13.
It's a question of Jintong, who looks perfectly relaxed out there, but he's got to find something now from here.
Judd Trump 13 and a frame.
And Trump will gain a lot from that frame. His 66 break, not his highest of the evening, but in terms of its construction, I think it was the best. 5-2.
Thank you, frame 8. Judd Trump to break.
Judd Trump almost there, but he will not be taking anything for granted. In the quarter-final, let's not forget, Zhao Xintong was 2 down with 3 to play, and he overcame the world number 2. Now he needs to win the last 4 frames to deny the world number 1.
Yes, this break-off has worked out exactly the same. Judd is breaking off virtually identically every time. The 2 reds to the left of the bunch. He can't play thin off those because of the left-hand red. And if you remember the last frame, he rolled this red in just to get him a point. But it's causing him problems, and we don't see that much these days, the break-off causing issues. He's going for it again. So Judd is doing some good things. You know, we're concentrating a little bit on 1 or 2 parts of his game that are not absolutely razor sharp, but he is putting the world champion in quite a lot of trouble.
One.
Now's his chance to put the match away, and it's quite a good one.
Eight. Nine. 14. 15. 22. 23.
Well, he looks very relaxed, and he kind of won the World Championships striking that pose, very serene, calming influence, but you know, somewhere inside he must be getting a little bit concerned about how this
30.
evening's going. He's hoping something will come his way before it's too late. He is good like that, you know, he is generally a very calming influence, but
31.
tonight, well, he's been schooled a little bit without seeing Trump at his brilliant best.
Yeah, nothing spectacular, just
38.
all-round excellence and definite tactical superiority. Robertson
Trump,
missed
38.
a couple of reds into that pocket last night that you couldn't quite believe, and there's another.
Well, all that sitting down calmly for Xintong, something has come his way. So,
1.
I don't know if anyone really expected that. I mean, I couldn't imagine him missing that red to middle, but you're right to pick up on Neil Robertson doing the same thing on the same shot. Now into the bunch, he's usually brilliant at this shot. Is he on 1 to middle here?
8.
Just about. Didn't look great, did it, when he first hit them?
9.
How the mood of a match can change in the blink of an eye with one glaring error.
15. 16.
Very surprising, wasn't it? Very surprising. Judd just briefly looked up at Jin Tong. He's not very happy with where he's finished. I mean, if he plays the red he's close to the right corner, that's awkward. Red to left middle is not a lot of fun either. Queuing over a ball. This is very missable, this horrible shot. Oh, what a way of playing it.
23.
Fabulous. It really wasn't pleasant, but he executed it with aplomb. Terrific. And that's a good shot too. He's finished right in there where he wants to be. Again,
30.
queuing is not wonderful, but similar sort of shot to the other pocket, to the right middle perhaps, or this one. Not someone I see using his opposite hand actually. These days seems rare, most players do.
Josington, 30.
As soon as the red was going towards that near jaw, it was the death knell. There's no way that was going to drop. They've been generous this week, not that generous. Judd Trump, so relieved. And now for the second time, in to win. And this is even more clear-cut than the first chance, Neil.
Yes, you'd think so.
8. 9.
I suppose after the red he missed a middle, you just can't assume anything really, but
50.
he does look for all the world like he will convert this. It's been a very interesting match that we
16.
were looking forward to all day. I mean, it's not been fireworks, but it's kind of told us quite a lot. Judd has still got that fighting spirit, you know, and 2-0 down, it was not looking all that good, quite honestly.
23.
Jin Tong looked confident, Trump not so. But what looks like reeling off 6 in a row, and he's on the brink of doing that, you know, you've got to give all credit to the world number one, haven't you? Because this is not the best that Trump can play. I mean, that's one thing we know.
The champion of champions, ever present. Glides in the
31.
penultimate red, and basically he's through. This is just the kind of display he would have craved. Not so much in terms of its quality,
37.
but in the way he's won 6 in succession against a very dangerous rival.
38.
He's got plenty of support, and now we get to see some of these unparalleled trick shots
43.
on the colours.
45.
Well, this first shot, absolutely brilliant. He's so good at these. You know, the match is won. Cue ball is going all around the table. Yeah,
48.
he'll take a lot from this, Judd. You know, we know earlier this week he said he's not sure about what he's going to do in the future, whether he
52.
changes the cue or whatever. But, you know, a winner like this, you wouldn't want to be changing much, would you, at this
57.
stage?
$63 frame and emerge.
The king of the Crucible loses in Leicester. Instead, the world number one is numero uno. And he's into the final of the Champion of Champions by a scoreline of 6-2.
Welcome back to Leicester, and Judd Trump, fresh from making it through to the final of the Champion of Champions for a sixth time, is in the studio. Ken's been here all evening, and Stephen now joins us as well. Judd, first of all, your reaction to being 2 frames to 0 down, but then winning the next 6 on the bounce.
Yeah, I mean, I missed one in the first frame. He went 2-0 up and kind of let me back into it quite easy. I had 2 unbelievable chances in the next 2 frames to get my armour going. And then after that, kind of just controlled the game, really. A couple of good breaks off left him in big trouble, a few good chances, and yeah, I scored reasonably heavy.
Yeah. Just before we came back here, you were chatting to everyone, and one of the big subjects has been the cue that you're using, and you were talking about whether comfortable or uncomfortable. How does it feel?
Yeah, like I said to you, it's perfect. No, I mean, I'm happy I'm in the final because I'm not at 100%. I'm probably at about 10%. So to make a final in a tournament like this when I'm not at my best and I don't feel that comfortable is take a lot of credit.
I was going to ask you that. Do you get? We all like to play well, but do you get a sort of strange pleasure or pride in being in the final? Being, I don't know, I think you're 20 or 30% of what you can be.
Yeah, I think after the start, I didn't really miss much. I don't feel as fluent because I have to really take care on every shot. So I don't feel like I can.
To me, you don't have like a sort of spark around the tail that you normally have. You look a little bit subdued, and then maybe that's down to the low confidence of the cue. I don't know.
I just don't really know what's going to happen. And I felt like every time I think I went 4-2 up and he left me a long red to the bottom pocket, and I got nowhere near. It's just kind of, I just get going, and I'm revving up, and then
1 step forward, 2 steps back.
And then like I slam the brake on, and I'm just waiting to kind of win 3 or 4 frames of breaks. Then he leaves me a long one. Then I pot that. Then I feel like I'm off on a roll. But until that, it's kind of hard work.
Does it give you a bit of pleasure that you can still, even though you're not at your best, nowhere near it yet, but you can still eke out these great victories, you know, against world champion. You can still graft, you can still, you know, play to well below your par, but still get a great result. You're in the final.
Yeah, I kind of know that, though. I kind of, over the last 5 or 6 years, I know at my best, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to win, but it's about trying to do it when you're not at your best, and that's what I've managed to do over the past few years, and probably even harder this year. And yeah, I got to the final obviously a few weeks ago, and it's nice to be in another final.
What is
so
it
soon.
about the cue though that you're not 100% with? What part of your game? Is it just a long game, or?
Yeah, I mean, changing from brass to titanium. The ball does not throw whatsoever with this cue, so I'm really struggling.
Can you explain? Sorry, can you explain the why players who've played their whole life with a certain and know how to aim, all of a sudden want to change to titanium? Does have to aim a completely different way? Can you explain why players do that? I can't understand it.
Because of the conditions, for me, they're so heavy when we play in China and even here and across the world now. From when I first turned professional 15 years ago, 20 years ago, the tables were unbelievable, I thought. There was only 2 games a day. You were straight in at last 32. Now you've got 5 or 6 games a day. The tables are so heavy that when I get down to aiming in, like the side doesn't react the same. So I want to be able to hit the same place on everywhere around the world. At the moment, I'm brilliant on good conditions, but terrible on bad conditions.
So 2 cues is the answer.
Yeah. Sean tried it, he didn't succeed. So.
Oh, I felt like Stephen was a bit like a headmaster asking a question there. I'm going to be on a similar theme because obviously 2025, we're coming into the dying embers of the year and trying to get over the line and winning. I read an interesting article about you talking about motivation, and you're not as motivated perhaps to get those victories that maybe you would have been in a different time. Is that accurate? Is that a correct way of describing the desire to win and get a victory?
I think the desire to win is the same. I think the only difference is I don't take it as badly.
Right.
And I think when you don't take it as badly, you're probably never quite as intense. So I don't know what it is. I'm still out there trying my absolute best every single game. For me, I've just tried to manage my expectations, and I don't want to be losing a game and sitting at home like crying about it or
The
whatever.
minute you stop hating losing,
Yeah.
that's a
Do you
dangerous
think,
thing.
do you think that's an age thing? Do you think that's an age thing? As you get a little bit older, you don't feel the defeats as hard, maybe?
Yeah, no, I think even obviously what Jack went through and being there with him, just seeing what he went through this year, I think it changed me just going through that and seeing a different side of life, really. Before it's kind of all been a bit selfish, and then when I see that, I think, oh Christ, maybe it's not the end of the world. Look, I always put in 100%. I always work as hard as everyone. I always want to go out there and win, do whatever I can. Sometimes I'm just going for a period, maybe I'll start hating losing. If I play someone I really hate, I still hate losing.
Who do you hate more, Neil Robertson or Mark Selby?
Both of them. No, I like them both.
Well, congratulations. Through to a sixth final here. We wish you the very best of luck. Hope that motivation is exactly as you say, as strong as ever. Well done. Congratulations to Judd Trump. He is through to Sunday's final. When we come back after the break, we'll of course preview tomorrow's second semi-final. Hometown favourite Mark Selby up against two-time winner of this tournament, Neil Robertson. After beating Serbia at Wembley last night, England now travel to Tirana to face Albania in their final World Cup qualifier, and our live coverage gets underway at 4 o'clock on Sunday on ITV1 and STV. On the subject of the World Cup, England's under-17s team have qualified for the knockout stages in Qatar. You can watch their match against South Korea tomorrow here on ITV4 from 12:15. And there is more international football to look forward to as we bring you Brazil's 2 upcoming friendlies on ITV4. First up, the 5-time world champions face Senegal at the Emirates tomorrow. That's from 3:45. Carlo Ancelotti's side then head to Lille in France to take on Tunisia on Tuesday. And catch the best of the action from League One and League Two in our EFL highlight show at midnight, so that's late on Saturday, going into Sunday here on ITV4. And we also have live horse racing from Cheltenham to look forward to tomorrow. Here's Ollie Bell with all the details.
Hi everyone. Now, the last time I was outside the Centaur Centre at Cheltenham, I was with you guys in the warmth of the snooker studio. But back to slightly more familiar, if wet, surroundings for me with regards to national hunt racing. And we've just finished day 1 of the Paddy Power meeting. 2 more days coming your way, including one of the big betting races of the year, the Paddy Power Handicap Chase. That's the feature on Saturday. And we'll have all the build-up to it on the opening show, as well as the all-important update on conditions, because as you can tell, it's a pretty wet one here in the Cotswolds. As well as that, we will have analysis with Ruby Walsh, tipping Tom's selections, the £20 challenge. That's coming away 9:30, ITV4 for the opening show. And the live racing with a host of stars on the show starts at 1:30. So for now, enjoy the snooker, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for the opening show.
And just after Ollie recorded that, by the way, Cheltenham announced they're going to have an inspection tomorrow at 7:30 because of the heavy rain that they've endured today. So news on the opening show with Ollie and the team tomorrow morning. OK, we can focus in on Neil Robertson against Mark Selby. So I was saying to Judd, who did he hate more? Who do you like more for that semi-final?
That's a real tough one. I mean, it's pretty much impossible to predict a winner. They're both playing very, very well. Robertson's scoring heavily. Missed 1 or 2 easy ones, which were surprising, but still was very convincing. But I think Selby's could be the man to beat.
Yeah. Okay, he's never won here. He's never won this event before. Is he winning enough this season? Is he playing well enough to win?
I think he's sort of coming to the boil, but I think Neil Robertson's playing better than him at the moment. And, of course, he has that, the victory in Riyadh gave him a huge boost as well. And he's playing with a lot more confidence. He's playing a lot faster. He's scoring a lot more freely. And that makes him a really tough animal to beat, But it's going to be very, very tough between the two of them. Mark Selby's so hard to scrape off the table.
You're saying, Neil Robertson, what's going to be the difference? Because there's not a lot between these two if they play it at their best.
No, I just hope it's a proper game. I hope that it doesn't get bogged down, because it has happened with these two players before. The game goes scrappy and it gets very, they go to the dark arts. I hope it's top quality every department. But I'm going to go Selby 6-4.
Selby 6-4.
I want to see a lot of good safety. I don't want to see big breaks. You know what I mean?
Into final frame.
6-5, 6-5 either way.
Well, I would like to see the same. I'd love to see. They're both brilliant players, and it's going to be hard to separate Neil Robertson and Mark Selby. But just a little reminder to join us tomorrow night. Obviously, we'll find out who Judd Trump will face in Sunday's final. Mark Selby yet to win here, but of course a hometown favourite against Neil Robertson, a 2-time winner. That's our second semi-final. Coverage gets underway at 6:45 here on ITV4 and ITVX. It has been a fabulous day. This is my last time on the ITV snooker team, so I just want to say thank you to everyone that I've worked with over the years on this particular programme. You're still duty-bound over the weekend, so I hope you all have a great weekend. Of course, Jill will be back to take you through to the final, but for now, bye-bye.